Before I say anything, I would want all of you to think something. What if life was not moving towards a fixed opportunity? What if at every interval there were multiple versions of it? Not one path, not one goal, but many. And most of the time, you don't even know that you're choosing. How many of you? I didn't know that I'm choosing. Correct. Even I didn't know that I'm choosing. At the longest time of my years, I used to think life just happens. It moves from one stage to another. You work, you succeed, you fail, and life moves on. I started as a dancer. That was my identity, that was my life, that was my love, that was everything to me. But at a very early stage in my life, I suddenly shifted to something completely unfamiliar. Acting. Well, I didn't know how to act. I was bad. Frankly, I was terrible at it. So you can imagine from the time being celebrated as the best dancer, I was criticized, judged, and questioned for being an actor. And that was a moment. I had a choice. I could have easily walked away, or I could have stayed and learned. Well, I stayed. Not because I was confident, but because something inside me had refused to accept the fact that this is the only version of my life. This is the only version of my story. And that's what life brings you. Big shifts in life do not come when you have a clarity. It comes when you choose, even with a lack of clarity. Over the years, things changed. Work came, opportunities came, people perception towards my acting changed. But one thing that did not change was the presence of choice. Every stage is a different way to react, to respond to doubt, to expectations, and especially when your life is moving beyond career. Well, marriage has its own timelines. Expectation to slow down, expectation to settle into roles, becoming a version of myself. And then there were moments that were harder. Harder to even speak today here. Loss. Repeated loss and miscarriages that I had. At that point of my time, you just don't question life. You question the future that you're imagined, standing in between the hope that would have happened to actually what is happening. And again, not one path. There is grief, there is silence, there is strength, there is moving forward. And you choose one step at a time. After years, I became mother. I finally thought I've arrived the version of my life I had been waiting for. I was so happy. But life do not stop surprising you or presenting you with new realities. After pregnancy, I started facing something very simple. Trust me, very, very simple. But deeply uncomfortable for myself. Or maybe for others also. Something so common. I don't want to name, I don't want to point, but something so common. But completely ignored. And at that moment of my life, I realized that how easily we accept things, not because things are unsolved, but because nobody questions them. We don't question them. And that moment changed something. Because for the first time, I realized that awareness do not come from those big life events. It comes when you notice those small little things that we have learned to live with without even questioning. Is there another way? Do we question? Is there another way? I started questioning. And what I found after that was even surprising. Whoa, an entire industry built on not solving the problem, but masking the problem. I stayed with that simple thought, trust me, I stayed with that simple thought that if everybody is doing the same thing, maybe people are not even noticing at the problem. Maybe there are possibilities which are yet not discovered, they are unsolved. And that one shift from accepting to questioning changed the entire direction of my life. Not because I had some grand plan, but because I allowed myself to see that is there another way. On that note, I want to leave you guys today, not with my achievements or with my journey, but with that thought, with that one idea that every moment has multiple tomorrows. Some are comfortable, some are familiar, some require courage, some requires let go, but they all are there. But we often don't see them because we are very used to following what's been expected, what's been done, what's safe. But awareness changes everything. The moment you start noticing that there is more than one way, you take back control on yourself. The future is not something that is going to come later. It exists today. With every choice that you're making today and the ones that you're avoiding today. And with every decision, you're just not moving forward. You're allowing yourself to choose a version of your life that becomes real, and the ones that you avoid just quietly fades away. So the next time when you're stuck, or certain that, you know how things are. You know how things are going to be. So you take a pause, look again, ask yourself, is that the only possibility? Have I not seen yet? There are number of futures waiting for you tomorrow. There is not one future for you tomorrow. There are thousands of tomorrow. And the one that you're choosing today, the one that you're living today. Thank you so much.